Serena's not here today?
Oh yeah, she went on lunch break.
Oh, okay.
So, come on. Oh well. Don't worry about it. All right. I'm gonna pull this thing down. Okay, we are here, and welcome again back to our all recovery meeting. Today we're going to be talking about. I put it on the screen. My name is Craig. I am here for our all recovery support meeting, and today we're going to be talking about overcoming relapse. Why it isn't a sign of failure. And so we're bringing you this article by Behavioral Health Center.com. And once again, we're talking about overcoming relapse, why it isn't a sign of failure. And I'm not here by myself. I have a young lady here with me as well, and she's joining us. You can't see her for policy reasons. However, you can hear her. And so if you want to introduce your name.
Hi, Christina.
Christina, that's it. That's all you're going to get. I'm Craig. That's Christina in the background. All right. So let's get into it. So the article says sometime an addiction relapse happens immediately after the patient completes the recovery process. Other relapse happen months or even years after the patient leaves their treatment program. In any case, relapses are particularly frustrating when addiction recovery seems so close. The patient might decline to enter treatment again. If they can't relapse again, what's the point? Sometimes people feel like, what's the point? I just can't get it. Why I keep going through program after program. But truth be told, sometimes we have to go through. Sometimes people, I know I didn't get it the first time. When I tried to do it on my own, it took me to get some type of therapeutic treatment. And so sometimes it may take more than one or two tries. So don't be hard on yourself. Excuse me while I'm talking because I'm trying to get over this cold. And so without further ado, the article continues and says, however, a relapse isn't a sign of weakness. Everyone with a substance use disorder is at risk for a relapse. But it doesn't matter how many times a relapse occurs, everyone has another chance at recovery, right? Everyone has a chance at recovery. All right. Being that I said all that, say this. What is relapse? Relapse is a return to old behaviors after a patient, right? A pattern started or completed an addiction recovery program, right? It says, for example, if the patient, what's that, patient or pattern? Patient. If the patient suffers from an alcoholic addiction, they might start drinking again a few months after they leave the clinic. A relapse can happen anytime, no matter how long the patient has maintained their sobriety. Contrary to popular belief, relapses aren't always dramatic events. Some patients simply start thinking that they can handle a drink or two or casually take a pill while they're partying with friends. That's a no-no. That is a no-no because it's going to lead to something more and more. And so if you begin to think like that, word to the wise, seek some help, find somebody that you can talk to, tell on the thoughts that you're having. Just say, hey, listen, I'm having these thoughts about having one drink at a party or taking one pill. Unfortunately, a relapse almost always leads to full-blown addiction that takes over their life again. Fortunately, patients can re-enter addiction treatment without punishment or judgment. Clinics like behavioral health centers treat addiction every step of the way from initial relapse to aftercare resources. We here at Capital Recovery Center, we like to help people navigate to some type of treatment. And so if someone relapse, they say, "Hey, Craig, you're a recovery coach. Man, listen, I'm ready to get back into treatment. Can you help me?" And I'm going to say, "Sure. Are you ready? Let's do it." And then we'll start the process. You want to read the second one?
Sure. Types of relapse.
Yes.
Many addictions don't jump right into substance abuse after completing their drug addiction treatment. Instead, they start to slowly decline as their health or environmental conditions worsen. Their relapse happens in stages that the patient can reverse if they seek treatment in time. Otherwise, they start thinking they can't cope with everyday life, which leads to a physical relapse.
Mm-hmm. Relapse into a physical relapse. There's types of relapse, and we're going to get into some of the types. And so the next one we're going to relapse we're going to talk about, and that is emotional relapse. And an emotional relapse happens before the patient starts thinking about using drugs or alcohol again. In the early stages, patients stop taking care of themselves. They might stop seeing a mental health professional, lose their healthy coping skills, or abandon eating well and setting boundaries. When this happens, the patient has trouble coping with negative emotions. Poor self-care makes their physical condition deteriorate, increasing their risk of failure relapses. Not setting healthy boundaries makes people take advantage of them. As their condition worsens, they start thinking about their drug addiction again. The next one we'll talk about, and that is, you want to read?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's mental relapse.
Mental.
If the patient doesn't seek help in time, they start to seriously consider a relapse. Their drug cravings may increase. Sometimes they attempt coping strategies, but a relapse starts to feel like the only option. In their minds, nothing but drugs or alcohol will help them cope. To make matters worse, environmental conditions might trigger their drug or alcohol dependence. For example, if relatives don't support their sobriety, they start thinking they can handle a substance or two. Stress from their job or personal life increases their mental health issues.
If relatives don't support their sobriety, it's always good to have some type of good support network. All right, because a lot of times that can wear on a lot of people' mental state when they feel that they uh, out in the ocean with a boat all by themselves. And so therefore, be supportive. The next one we're going to talk about physical relapse. All right, put that on the board. The article says, in the final stage, the patient finally relapses. They might seek out the people who provided the drugs or take a few drinks at a bar. If they don't spiral right away, the patients start thinking they have control over their drug and alcohol addiction. This leads them further into their drug abuse. Initially, they may hide the relapse from their family members, but the negative consequences inevitably expose their relapse. Eventually, the patient loses all control and returns to their addiction. They can lose their job, alienate family members, lose friends, and waste thousands of dollars on their addictive behaviors. Their mental health conditions worsen, causing them to increase their drug use. Ultimately, ultimately, the patient ends up in the same place they were before they sought drug treatment for a local or national institute. Okay, now we talked about emotional, mental, physical. Now I want to get into why relapse isn't a sign of failure. Someone is online watching us, and so I'm glad that you are part of what we are talking about today. And so, yes, why relapse isn't a sign of failure? That is a great question. Most people ponder to themselves why relapse isn't a sign of failure, or am I a failure just because I relapse? An article makes going to explain to us why relapse isn't a sign of failure. After a relapse, many patients feel guilt. Society judges people with substance use disorders as lazy and selfish instead of people suffering from chronic diseases. Okay. Their friends and relatives may look down on them since the media glorifies early recovery stories where the addicts never relapse. Patients have negative feelings about themselves. If other people can maintain sobriety, why can't they? Despite the success stories on TV shows, relapse rates are incredibly high. This doesn't mean relapse is inevitable. But addictive behavior doesn't magically disappear during continual recovery. The patient still experiences the same cravings, triggers, and thoughts patterns. Many patients need multiple drug rehab visits before they finally have the tools to prevent future relapse. Remember, I stated it earlier. I didn't ace it on the first time. I didn't get it right the first time. It took me 2 times. And with a whole lot of continuum of care. And so that's just something to be mindful of. Don't beat yourself down. If you complete a program, the young lady here, she's part of a program that she's part of, that she participated in, and she's about to complete it. And she's still doing this. She come regularly. And so, hey, if she can do it, I can do it, you can do it as well. Despite the success, okay, so it says people in stressful situations have a particular high risk for relapse. Generally, relapse prevention means teaching patients how to manage stress and leave toxic environments. Let me read that again. It says generally, relapse prevention means teaching patients how to manage stress and leave toxic environments. However, some patients can't just walk away. If they're raising a child dealing with legal issues or don't have the money to pack up and leave, these are barriers. We're talking about barriers. The article is talking about some barriers that most people face coming out of addiction into recovery and to stay on the right track. Some barriers are very are hard to overcome. And so people need help. And so a lot of times I encourage people, do not be so prideful, to not ask for help. If you need help, please ask for help because there's help out here. So it says one of the barriers are if a person is raising a child, dealing with legal issues, or don't have the money to pack up and leave. Because we talk about people, places, and things. All right. And so their relapse prevention plan might not feel like enough. Likewise, underlying mental health issues make it harder for patients to recover. That is another hurdle. Group and individual therapy aim to help patients face their issues and develop coping skills. However, like addiction issues, mental health problems don't just go away. If a patient finds it nearly impossible to feel positive emotions, they could return to chronic alcohol abuse. Finally, withdrawal symptoms drive many patients to relapse before they start their treatment programs. Even if they complete a program, symptoms can continue for days, weeks, or months. Some health issues never go away completely. The withdrawal symptoms and cravings can be so intense that patients feel like they can't live without a substance. Overall, a relapse isn't a sign of weakness. Instead, a relapse shows that the patient simply needs further addiction treatment before they can move on with their life. All right? And so I hope this article has been informative. So we're going to move right along and talk about the next aspect of uh, overcoming relapse and why it's not a failure. And the next one, if you want to read.
Yeah, I'll read.
Okay, thank you.
It's reach out for the help you need. The first step is admitting the relapse happened. When some people relapse, they tell themselves that it's temporary or they don't need help. Patients need to admit that they turned back to their addiction before they're ready to seek treatment. Once they've done that, they can talk to treatment providers about their situation. Behavioral health centers treat addiction to alcohol, heroin, meth, opioids, cocaine, fentanyl, and prescription drugs. Generally, patients enter a 28 to 35-day treatment program that starts with a detox. After taking classes, undergoing therapy, and building a healthier lifestyle, patients leave the program with knowledge and aftercare resources. In addition to the addiction itself, behavioral health centers treat underlying causes like anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, borderline personality disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. Once they understand why they turned to substance abuse in the first place, patients reduce the risk of a relapse.
Mm. So, as I was stating earlier, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay. Explain to your professional person, the counselor, sponsor, whoever that you're interacting with. Explain to them. Say, listen, I need help. I'm dealing with such issue or situation. Can you please help me? And I'm quite sure if you're dealing with the right professional person, they will do the best they can to relieve some of the stress or some of the involvement or entanglement that one faces in recovery. All right, so we're trying to help. Overcoming relapse and getting back on track. Let's talk about it. Typically, patients start the program with a detox that allows substance to leave their body. Since individuals may experience severe cravings and withdrawal during detox, medical professionals observe their treatment to make it as comfortable as possible. They also watch for serious health conditions that can lead to complications. Once they are detox, patients start an inpatient program at a behavioral health center, state-of-the-art facility. Okay, that's one aspect of it. While you're there, you may be a part of group therapy with fellow patients, individual therapy with a counselor. These are some of the things, or some of the things that one can get while in treatment. Group therapy, individual therapy. Some things are offered family and marriage therapy because we know we have done hurt or harm or abandoned our loved ones. And so these things are so important. Medication management to help patients take medicine without compromising their sobriety. Okay? We call it MAT, medication assisted treatment. And that is, some people need that because it's, from what I understand, is that the cravings could be so overpowering or overbearing that a person may feel at the given time that they can't do it by themselves. Even though they went to treatment, got all the coping skills, there may be just a little bit need of just a little bit more professional help. All right, and you get that from professional people when it comes to the medication aspect. Fitness programs and nutritional therapy for healthy eating, that's another good aspect. Neurobehavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, that's a great one. I love CBT. I like the ABC module that they use. Eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. That one I'm not too familiar with. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
No, I never heard of that one. I'm not familiar with it. Dialectical behavioral therapy. Okay, I'm familiar with the dialectical aspect. Art and music therapy. That's a great one, especially if you are a person who really enjoys desensitization or music or some type of nature to put yourself at ease when you feel some type of anxiety coming on. Okay, these type of activities are very helpful. Alternative treatments like mindfulness, yoga, and meditation. These are some great stuff. All right. And so it said these services aim to tackle every aspect of the patient's life so they can improve their relationships, enjoy better health, leave toxic environment, accept the past, and challenge their thought patterns. Challenge their thought patterns. That's great. With these tools, they can start rebuilding their life instead of falling back into old habits, decreasing the chance that they'll relapse again. And so that's it for today. We are so glad to be a part of our support group here at Capital Recovery Center. And like always, you can go online and retrieve this article. It's brought to everyone by behavioralhealthcenters.com. Do you have anything that you want to add?
No,
No? Okay. What do you think of the article?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay. Yeah. It has a lot of good material in here that can help us remind ourselves the importance of if we have thoughts or if we're thinking or being in a toxic environment, that we should be able to remove ourselves or seek help.
Right.
Okay. And so until the next time, take care. Have a good day. My name is Craig. And until next week, be safe.
Thank you so much.